Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our pre-match press conference to preview our fixture against Leeds United this weekend. And if we can start off with Vinny O'Connor from Sky Sports, please.
Hi Frank, hope you're well.
Hi, hello.
Just to start with Frank, the injury situation, how are Demarai Gray, Yerry Mina, and is Fabian Delph likely to be back, and how ready is Dominic Calvert-Lewin to start?
Okay, Yerry Mina's an unfortunate injury which will be probably between 8 to 10 weeks, unfortunately. So it's a strong injury around his quad. Disappointing for us all. In the week I've been here, I've realised he's a big leader in the group and a top player, obviously, for us. So big miss. Demarai Gray won't be fit for Leeds, but hopefully a minor knock around his hip. But hopefully we're expecting him to be fit for next week with some luck. Fabian Delph's not ready yet. He'll be hopefully a couple of weeks away, making good progress. Just spoke to him then, actually. And who else did you ask? Dominic's in the squad. So he was on the bench, obviously, at Newcastle, and he's in the squad for tomorrow.
I'm just thinking, though, Frank, with DCL, if he's ready to start.
Well, that's for us to decide. And, yeah, he's been working all week with us, so we'll decide that for tomorrow.
Just with regard to the centre-half situation, Frank, what kind of solutions are you really looking at? Are you thinking you're having to switch to a back four? Is it a position that maybe Gabami can fill in at? Yeah, we've got options. They're two big injuries for us at centre back. You know, I was very excited to work with players like Ben and Yerry, international players, and but we do have option on players there that have to step up and have been stepping up. To be fair, Michael Keane, Mason Holgate, we've got Jared Braithwaite. So the options are becoming tight, and you always want to have a full squad, especially when we're in the position we're in. So they're big misses for us. I can't deny that. So yeah, maybe we'll have to adjust around it at different times, but I have confidence in the squad anyway, and we just have to dig in. If there's injuries, Decore still out, who's for me one of the best midfielders in the Premier League of his type, and that kind of energy that we'd love to have in there. So there are areas that we have to dig in this short term, particularly until we can get some of these players back. But as I say, I believe in the squad, and sometimes digging in is the only way, particularly when you're in our league position. So I won't complain too much. It's just a fact. But, it's just we're missing big players, and that will obviously damage any squad. And just with needing bodies up to speed, and we kind of touched on it the other night with Dele, we saw flashes at times, but how quickly do you think you can get him up to speed, and what extra can you do with him to kind of speed up that process?
Well, we need to work, and it's for me to find the right time to bring him in, to give him minutes, to work him hard, because we shouldn't expect instant reactions to a player that's not always been playing that much. So I thought he did okay when he came on, to be fair, and he will do better. And that's just the work in progress that Dele is. He signed for us. He wants to be a big player for us going forward. So in the short term, we just have to manage that situation with him personally.
Obviously, after Tuesday, there's been the inevitable. This makes Saturday a must-win. So how do you view it?
Well, I definitely don't want to go over the top. We want to win the game. But anyone who knows Leeds, watched them playing midweek against Villa and the quality of their team, I think to stand there and say with 16 games to go after that Leeds is a must-win game, I don't see it that way. We've come here now. I've come in here now in 2 weeks, had a really good performance in the Cup. We had a performance that we weren't so happy with against Newcastle. I think when we come in the run that we were on, I think we won 1 in 14 games coming into that Newcastle game. It's understandable that there will be little bits of transition and time, and we need to find a way to win games. But I certainly don't want to put everything on this weekend, because it's a really tough game and there's a lot of points to play for afterwards. So I don't see it as that. Don't take that as me taking it lightly. Of course, it's the opposite. We want to win the game, and we'll give everything to do that.
I don't know, though, how much you've seen on social media, but the fans are certainly up for this, looking to bring banners, flags, anything really to generate the kind of positive atmosphere to help the players as much as they can. I just wonder how important that's going to be between now and the end of the season. Hugely
important, and we should never just expect that that's taken for granted. When I hear things like that, and I know what that will do to the players, then that's what makes this such a special club. I've found that out already. I knew it from afar, but I found it out already, and
in nearly 2 weeks that I've been here, how much the fans support, how much it's their life and their passion. The players have to replicate that in their performances. They have to play with energy. And if we work together on that sense, then we'll be so much stronger. So I appreciate that. And again, it's up to us now to do our side of the job.
And finally from me, Frank, in truth for you, is there ever any extra edge when it comes to Leeds, given what happened when you were at Derby?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's a very long gone history, a couple of years, whatever. A lot's happened since then. For me, for Leeds, I've got actually complete respect for Marcelo Bielsa as a coach. The way he works is relatively unique, and it's the results that he gets out of it, and the players. They're a good team to watch if you're neutral because of the energy in their team. So I've got loads of respect for them. No, we just go up against them, worrying about ourselves and trying to get the result, and that's how I feel personally too.
Thanks,
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thanks, Vinny. We'll now go to Jake Robson, please, at Premier League Productions.
Afternoon, Frank. Hope
Afternoon.
you're okay.
Hi, good, thanks.
Yeah, you mentioned Dele Alli, but I just wondered what you thought of his and Donny van der Beek's contribution against Newcastle. Now you've had a couple of days to reflect.
I thought they both did okay. I think with Dele, I think there are moments he'll be disappointed with. I thought there were flashes of Dele as we see him and we know him, and I think that's understandable. We had two injuries in the first half, big injuries in terms of the game, which affected my hand as such during the game, and I probably didn't want to have to give Dele so many minutes in his first appearance, but he handled them well physically, and that's an important fact, and he'll be better for that performance. And then with Donny again, I was affected in terms of it was a third sub. He came on at a difficult time, and I thought he showed some really nice bits of midfield play and his comfort on the ball. He's shown that in training as well. So I'm pleased that one's out of the way for them personally, and they'll get better for it.
Now you've seen the team play, in general, has that Newcastle game changed at all your perception of the task that you face here?
No, because I didn't expect to come in a position we're in, which I just mentioned, where we haven't been winning games for quite a long time generally. To think that off the back of a Brentford performance and result in the cup, that everything would be roses and we'll go on and win games and move up the table. The football doesn't work like that. And when you go to Newcastle with a spring in their step for new signings and a tough atmosphere, if you get a few bits wrong in the game, which we did in terms of individual errors, then you can lose the game. But that's the position we're in. It doesn't change. It's some small eye openers for me in terms of some individual things, some collective things, and maybe the mentality thing of when you're losing games, you really have to fight to turn that corner to build confidence. You can't just talk about confidence. It's something you have to work for. So that's a position I knew we were in. Nothing changes. We must stay positive. Regardless of this weekend's result, it's another tough game for us. And we're in a mini process because we need to get better. That's why I'm here. So, no, I'm on the same mindset as I was going into that.
And just lastly, you mentioned your respect for Bielsa, but as far as Leeds are concerned from a sort of playing point of view in the match, you obviously know what you're going to get having played Leeds before as a manager, but how do you sort of see the matchup, if you like, with between them and this Everton side?
Well, as I mentioned before, they're a relatively unique team in their style. Their physical output and energy is way above anyone in the league. So, which is something I admire when you obviously train to get to that position, and some of their movements in their attacking play are really good too. So, we have to understand that, but also we have to believe in our own strengths in what we've got. We've got some talented squads, I keep saying. We've got work to be done, but we can worry about ourselves. The lads will be prepared in terms of what Leeds can bring, and focus more on ourselves and back ourselves. Goodison crowd behind us, playing at home. Real desire to get the result, and that's where we're at. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Jake. We'll go on to Juliet Ferrington, please, at the BBC.
Hey, Frank. You look just looking at you look pretty shell-shocked at the news with Yeremina. Were you expecting it to be as bad as you thought when the injury happened?
Yeah. So that might be just my face looking shell shocked. I was aware on the night that our medical team, who in the short term here have been great and really on point, were wary of the type of injury straight away, just from Yeri's description of what he felt. So we were aware straight away, and obviously that our worst fears were confirmed a day or so later. In terms of being out for a while. So, as I say, Yeri's a big personality here. That's clear to me already. I've seen him a few times since he's been in here. He's a positive lad, man.
who will miss. But at the same time, we have to be positive around him and move on in the short term until he comes back.
You talk about digging deep and having confidence. How do you go about creating that right environment at Finch Farm to get what you want and the culture?
Well, I think there's two sides of it. Firstly is the connection between staff and players in training, daily, having conversations and making sure the collective spirit and individually is as good as it can be, and that's communication. And the second thing is how we work on the training pitch. And I thought, we had probably 3 really practical sessions going into Brentford, and we saw a nice change. In between that, it was a recovery for Newcastle, and then we saw some of the things that we want to get better at. So I think it's important that the players have confidence in our relationships and confidence in how we're working on the training ground. And I think hopefully you work at that, and that will come through in performance and then in result. We haven't got loads of time at the minute to talk about culture and values. It needs to just be how we are, how we behave, and what we want at the end of it. We can talk about culture and values down the line with a long-term vision, because you always want to move forward as a club. But short-term, it's train well, be together, be strong, and try and get results.
What is that mood like right now then, amongst the players and the squad and the staff that you've got?
The mood's really good. And it wouldn't have been after Newcastle in the evening, and maybe not the next morning, and that's our job as players and staff, because we want to win games. And when you've been losing games regularly, as I come here, I haven't felt that regularly. The players are feeling it recently, so you understand it's something you need to overcome. But the mood's been very good. I couldn't ask for any more from the players in terms of how they're training, listening or taking on board things that we're trying to say. How they're smiling, how the canteen feels upstairs, how the atmosphere feels in the dressing room before games. I couldn't ask for any more of that in the short term. So I'm very happy with what I've come into on that front.
Just one more, if I may, just on Anthony Gordon. He's featured a lot this season. He's been in and out, either on the bench or starting. He's been the one shining light from a young player point of view to come through. He always seems to grab the attention of people.
Yeah, I've been hugely impressed.
How impressed have you been with him?
Really impressed. I was from afar. Watched his games, watch him play, watch the attributes that he has, and then so from afar, he looks a very, very talented young player who clearly has a strong connection with the fans and the club, which is always a plus. Fans want to see players come through, local lads, and it means so much to both sides. But from working with him, a really good lad in terms of. He wants to train every day. He wants to do his best and improve every day. He wants to engage with you, and then he has this really good talent. I think he's a top young player. I don't want to put too much on his shoulders because there's development still to be had, and he'll be wanting to add extra goals and extra assists and an awareness of what he can work for us off the ball and that. But he's got all those things are there. It's just a case of trying to improve them. And when you see a player that's engaging, that's so engaging like he is, then. That's what makes you enjoy coming to work every day, to work with players like that. So I'm very happy with Anthony, and he'll get better and better, I believe.
Thanks, Juliet. We'll go
Thank
on
you.
to Carl Woodward at Radio Merseyside, please.
Frank.
Hi.
Keeping with the young players, Nathan Patterson, the right back who came in during January. What's he been like in the training? Have you been impressed with how he has been? And is it hard putting younger players in when it's not going great on the pitch in terms of results?
Yeah, I've been impressed with Nathan, and it's not been easy, to be fair to the players. They need to train well, because we like to be intense in training. But when you can't see him match play, and I've seen bits of Nathan previously, and then you revert to what you're saying there in terms of the situation we're in. We have to make sure my duty, is to make sure that we develop young players, find the right time for them to play, and so far in 2 games that hasn't been the right time. But I'm very pleased to work with him. People think I love sticking young players in my teams. I do when they deserve it, and I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it, but at the minute he's in a position where the captain of the club, Seamus, who's been so impressive since I've been here, and obviously for a long time at the club, is there. So he needs to work. He needs to continue developing. The club have signed him for the future as well as the now. So I will work with Nathan very closely and my staff as we do with the young players in particular. And when he gets his opportunity, I just want to see him take it.
And we've spoken about Dele Alli and Donny van de Beek in the last week or so, but we had to see Anwar El Ghazi on the pitch since he signed. But how much can he offer to the side as well?
Yeah, I think he can offer, and he couldn't play in the cup game. He was cup tied. So that one he was out of. He's obviously on the bench at Newcastle, and he's a talented player. I know that from going up against him as a coach, from seeing him from afar. It's an area where we do have personnel in wide and attacking areas, so at times there will be all of the players in those areas will have to maybe understand, have to wait for their time, come on and impact games in game or start games and impact them. Slightly under pressure, that's a good pressure, that's not a bad thing. And he has a slightly different skill set to maybe some of our other players in that area. He's very good 1v1. So it's probably with Anwar, it's my first time working closely with him. He's training with us, he's been involved, and he can hopefully have an impact for us.
And you mentioned Leeds, how a unique side they are. Steven Gerrard mentioned the same thing the day after they played against Leeds. Do they kind of offer up different tactics each time you play them? So even if you watch them quite a lot of times, they do kind of throw up different aspects when you do play them on the pitch when the game comes along.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there are too many tactical changes. It's more the idea of how they play, the energy and the fluidity to their movements, and the energy of the team and their rotations means it's not always you can't follow their players all over the pitch. It's a style that they have. I think if you try and match them in that style, I think it's a very difficult way. So you have to be very disciplined how you defend against them. They don't stop going. We saw that against Villa, 3-1 down. They're a team that just continues to do the same thing, and that's to their credit. We have to be aware. The players will be very aware. I've played against them a few times. They're a tough game, no matter when you take them on, whether they played 3 days ago, whether they're in good form or not in good form. The idea is the same. So we have to be very aware of their philosophy. Aware that it will be a big running game, a big physical game for us. You have to match them for that. And if we match them for that, then we have to have belief in our talents as well.
Thanks, Carl. We'll go to
Thank
Carl
you.
Markham at the Press Association, please.
Hi, Frank.
Hi.
You mentioned this afternoon the word confidence a few times. I'm just wondering, how confident are you? You've got the character in the squad to deal with a relegation scrap if that what comes, because it's a different mentality to what maybe these players are used to.
In terms of the talent and the squad and ability, I've got a belief in that. I did before I came, and I've got it still now here, and even more so maybe working close hand and seeing the players train. And then the attitude has been spot on. And again, I think you can try and find details about relegation battles and what have you done before. I just see what's in front of me and players that want to improve, want to dig in when the going's tough, and want to have a feeling for the football club and want it to do well and want us to be the best we can be. And I see that. So that's all we need to do, is focus on next week and next week and next week, game by game, and improve ourselves. And then I believe in us.
Thanks for repeating. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll just take one more in the open section from Patrick Boylan, please. Patrick?
Sorry, Frank.
Hello.
Just a couple. Can you hear me now?
Yes, gotcha.
Yeah, brilliant. Just a couple of quick questions from me, Frank. First of all, fitness of and availability of Vitaly Mykolenko for tomorrow.
Yeah, he's not available for tomorrow. We'll be available for next week.
And you also mentioned the medical team and the medical staff. Obviously, a number of staff in that department left while Rafa Benitez was at the club. So I just wondered, is that something you're looking to address in your time here?
Certainly in the short term, not. I've been impressed with what I've come into, and the medical team, very hands-on. Straight away, my staff, it's our job to form that connection with them and make them feel comfortable to come to us with anything, to work together on every player that may be having issues and in terms of maintenance. And I've been very happy with them. So that's certainly nothing that I've seen at that point that we need to. But of course, as we go, we're looking, I think, not just at those areas, but across the whole club in different departments. And that can be something that's ongoing, and we'll cross that bridge. The main thing for me now is the good relationships we've formed behind the scenes and getting results.